hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
Welcome back, long-time listeners. Welcome back, Shades.
Welcome back, Sketch. Thanks. Good to be here.
Guys, every time you join us in a different corner of the Geeking Out multiverse as we traverse the fandoms with our Geeking Out command outpost, our GoCo.
Affectionately named.
Shades, where are we this week?
This time, Sketch, this week, we are straddling time, space, reality, IPs, and dimension. GoCo is set up in two locations, and we're going to exit the GoCo just this side of a galaxy far, far away. Cantina and Mos Pelgo.
Little known moss.
One of the few lesser known mosses.
Lesser known mosses, yes.
And the to our door number 2, the beautiful white sandy beaches of Themyscira.
So that must mean we're talking about sand this week.
Yes.
Sand. Just sand. Cue the audio clip of Anakin talking about how much he hates sand because it's coarse and it gets everywhere and blah, 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 blah. But no, guys, this is not the sand episode. This is kind of the listener requested.
Our season 2 spectacular.
Yeah. Of specifically here, we're talking of The Mandalorian
season 2,
yes, obviously, on Disney Plus, and then not a season but a sequel. Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah.
What's the significance of 1984, you ask? We'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm hoping we get there because I truly don't know. I would imagine that a lot of like the old grizzled moviegoers would have seen this not knowing comic books and just seen WW84 and been like, what?
The World Wrestling Federation 84?
Oh, I was going to say World War 84.
World War 84?
Oh, we skipped 82 of them. But yeah, so if we're talking, see, this is where it gets tricky. If we're talking both The Mandalorian and Wonder Woman 84, Shades, do we have a theme song that fits both of those this week?
Bet you we do, Sketch.
All right, well, what is it?
I need a hero. We're holding out for a hero to the end of the night. And he's gotta be strong and she's gotta be quick. And they gotta be fresh from the fight.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Guys, if you don't know the relevance of that to The Mandalorian,
check the show notes.
Check the YouTube.
Check the show notes.
And the show notes.
It's going to be right in the show notes.
And but before we talk about that, we should, of course,
say, fuck you, Ryan Johnson.
Right, fuck you, Ryan Johnson. And spoiler alerts galore, of course, for Mandalorian Season 2 and Wonder Woman 84. We might also inadvertently spoil the other 82 Wonder Womans that came before this one.
Spoilers for Star Wars, spoilers for Wonder Woman, spoilers for I don't know, Sketch. Spoilers for everything. Spoilers for like the roller coaster ride that's going to be this episode.
And for how we digest and take in media in this brave new world of ours, because both of these streaming, one of them made for streaming, the other
not so
much. But guys, we're gonna get there. So so what's kind of fun about this episode is, we've already done Mandalorian, we've already done Wonder Woman, so like our histories are pretty much unchanged, except for we've taken in these new episodes, if you will.
Yes. And these are both of these properties, Sketch. I think Wonder Woman being our very first episode.
Oh yeah.
We were fresh off
the way
seeing
back.
It.
Episode 1.
Yeah. And then Mandalorian, our second episode of season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. I mean, it just fits perfectly. I think we should just get kind of right into it because there's a lot to talk about.
I agree. I mean, we've talked about our histories. We've talked about our, the properties. We've done all that. I think we can just jump right into it, Sketch.
I think we can jump. We can jump right in.
We can Mandalorian jetpack our way right into these things.
Well, let's start with Mandalorian.
Great. Yes.
Do you now?
Holy shit! I fucking loved it. That's my hot take. I didn't
ask you this ahead of time. Do we don't have like scores? Do we have like all important?
I do. I have all important internet scores for both of these.
Okay. So season 2 of Mandalorian came out the end of November, right?
End of October.
Yeah. Into early December.
October 30th to December 16th.
Perfect.
Yes.
And this was a kind of a special time for me because for a large chunk of that, I was in full remote Egyptology.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so these episodes would drop like early on a Friday.
Yes,
and
I would be on a Thursday.
Late on a Thursday, early on a Friday, whenever you fall asleep. And I was able to watch these like every week on my lunch break. On Fridays. And
silver linings of a pandemic.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't remember another show that I've been like so pumped to like take in every episode of. As it comes
this
out.
Is gonna sound ridiculous, but the only show currently in my life that I binge like the minute they drop, Mandalorian and The Curse of Oak Island.
Curse of Oak Island. Oh, is that one where they're looking for like the treasure on Oak Island?
And it's bonkers. I'm hooked. Oh my goodness, Sketch. I've seen every episode. I wait for them to drop. So it was Mandalorian and Curse of Oak Island. And when Mandalorian finished, Oak Island came back. So
perfect.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I've been really lucky. I'm about to fall into a big show hole.
All the pieces are coming together in 2021. The stars are aligning.
It's my Infinity Gauntlet.
Excellent. So let's get right into it. Curse of Oak Island takes place at...
People have been looking for buried treasure for 240 years, Sketch.
Isn't that the one? Isn't it like the money hole or something?
The money
pit,
that the name?
Yes. The money pit.
Guys, welcome to our Curse of Oak Island episode.
Yeah, this is. You kind of look like you're fresh from the money pit.
Right. I've got my contractual Jedi beard.
Yeah.
I've got my Ghostbuster ski toque.
Yeah.
My thermal fleece. My thermal mug and balloons for the children.
You got one tooth covered in gold because you're panning.
Yep.
You got big overalls.
Yes.
And an old timey pickaxe.
And
you just keep like cackling.
Yeah. you've heard
There'd be gold in that pit.
Yes. No. So yeah. Anyway. Mandalorian.
This is
my goodness
the way.
Sketch.
Yeah.
How hard did you geek out in the very first episode?
I was.
Now, neither one of us.
Yeah.
We should say spoilers. They tease Boba Fett right off the bat.
Yes. Oh yeah, they do.
Neither one of us are Boba Fett fanboys.
No.
How hard did you geek out?
Oh, I mean, when are we talking first episode? Or are we talking like eventually when Boba Fett shows up?
No, first episode.
First episode was just like effing great. It came back so strong, and it does such a good job of weaving in these little things that they're Easter eggs, but they're not like the blatant Easter eggs that for everyone. And if you miss them, it's not a big deal. But there was like so much in that episode that was like that, and I was just like, we are hitting the ground running. And then on top of that, then the Boba Fett like main reveal, I was like, okay,
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm all in.
And then when he shows up later and he's like fighting as Boba Fett, I was like,
right.
I was kind of
right.
I was like, this must be really nice, and it was really nice for me. But I also felt really happy for like Boba Fett fanboys.
Tamora Morrison.
Oh, sure, him too.
Yeah.
But just like Boba Fett fanboys who are like, if you're a Boba Fett fanboy, you don't have a lot to go off of.
No.
Canonically.
No.
On screen.
I mean,
but now you do.
Yes. Yes, if you've been a
Now you
Boba Fett
do, and
fanboy for 40 years, now you have something to actually like fanboy or fangirl or fan person over. Because Boba Fett's never been cool. Boba Fett has never been cool. He has a cool helmet, and that's it. Can I imagine
cool
what?
Gear. And he's on the outskirts, so he's like a scoundrel. Okay, but could you imagine if they Luke Skywalkered Boba Fett? You know,
like he took up knitting.
Yeah, or something, or like he was a pacifist.
He's a pacifist now. Because they kind of like when they first tease Boba Fett, when you see him, like, so we go through a whole episode where they set up Boba Fett's return. It's not Boba, it's Cobb Vanth, and in the old expanded universe, Cobb Vanth finds Boba Fett's armor on the outskirts of the Sarlacc pit, puts it on, and is like a bumbling Boba Fett through the galaxy, and that's what everyone thought Mandalorian was gonna be.
Oh, that's where it was gonna go.
They thought that's what the series was gonna be about.
Oh, originally,
okay, before it premiered, they were like, "Oh, this is the story of Cobb Vanth who finds Boba Fett's armor, and he's terrible, and he's like really bad at it, but he's wearing Boba Fett's armor, so everybody's like fucking terrified of him."
Yeah,
but he like trips over himself and he like crashes into things with his jetpack because he's just terrible. He doesn't know how to use it.
Sure,
fucking Timothy Olyphant. I geeked out so hard.
Yeah, no, what else? I feel like I've seen him in something.
You okay? Because he just went through a wall.
Okay, that's him. Okay.
And then also Kelly.
Kelly,
do you remember
said that line earlier today?
Do you remember? I can't remember the name of the movie, but he was Kelly the drug dealer in a movie with that we watched in college that kept dosing people.
That keeps dosing people.
Yeah, they were like teenagers who like make like a sex ed video that people actually want to watch, and like Alicia Cuthbert's in it, and the guy that did Into the Wild, the one about the kid that goes to Alaska.
Okay,
I can't think of his name. We watched it in college.
This is all over the place, guys. If you know what movie that is based on that description, write into the show. I want to know. I have no recollection of this, but I don't doubt it. There's plenty of things I don't have recollection of.
What is the name of the movie? For the love of God. But anyway, I love Timothy Olyphant from Justified and Gone in 60 Seconds. His timing is just great. What was the name of that movie? He was fantastic in that episode. That whole episode was great, and you really felt like you were in safe hands. The movie is called The Girl Next Door, and his character's name is actually Kelly.
Perfect.
Yep.
You guys got it. Good job, everybody. Everyone who wrote in. Great job. You got it. Oh, I vaguely remember that now.
Okay, good.
I vaguely remember that now. Yeah. It's starting to come back to me. We've seen so much stuff now that it's
so many fucking movies.
It blends together. Then I'll be honest. The next two episodes with like the amphibian woman
didn't do it. Oh my God.
And Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, started eating the eggs.
Ready to tap out.
And they're like an endangered species, and he's just downing them.
That was rough.
We're like, I guess this is funny. This is supposed to be funny. Whatever. Those were episodes that just got us to the next.
Yeah, it's interesting in a show with 8 episodes that 2 of them were devoted to, I don't know what. I guess just finding out where there were more Mandalorians, but they gave us Bo-Katan in one of those.
Yeah, they gave us Bo-Katan, which was flipping great.
Yeah.
I will say after the first episode, you're almost a little bit like, okay, where are they going to go from here? Because obviously now that he has his jetpack and a little experience under his belt, Mando is fucking unstoppable.
Right.
And then you get episode 2 and you're like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah,
he's not unstoppable. He still is up against quite a force. So it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit for Mando there, and brought him back down to just a mere mortal.
Right.
Which felt good.
Yes.
But then as soon as you bring Bo-Katan,
oh my God,
you're just sprinting,
right?
And you're like an Olympic sprinter. We got great form. We see the finish line, and we're just powerhousing it.
So we got Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to keep things a secret. So like we got casting. We talked about casting earlier. it was revealed
Katie
Sackhoff, thank you, was going to play Bo-Katan, and I was like, that's great casting. And then we saw her, and that was even better casting.
Oh, it's fantastic casting.
And it's just the show just builds from there. When Bo-Katan says, go to whatever that planet is, and tell Ahsoka Tano that Bo-Katan sent you.
That was a hard geek out. Just when she said her name.
Right.
And then it's like next episode. I was convinced. I'm like, I'm not getting Ahsoka till the very end of the season, but I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Okay, I don't mind.
Right.
And then it was like, by the way, next episode.
Oh my God. That cold open.
Yeah.
I mean, sketch. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I have rewatched that sequence. And it's just amazing.
You're talking about where she's like has the town under siege and she's like showing up out of the fog, and you just like keep seeing her lightsabers like come out of the mist. Somebody also made a similar edit to the Holding Out for a Hero. I can't remember what the song is. It's not quite as good, but it's very good. Barracuda.
Oh right, yeah, it's Barracuda. Yep,
I saw that one.
It was very good. We'll link to that in the show notes also.
I think it's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Yep. Insert name here if we were better.
If we were better, we would drop that YouTuber link. Well, but it's show notes.
That's what they're there for.
Every
episode I kept going like, wow, that was the best episode of the season.
Yeah.
And then the next episode would drop. And I was like, oh my God, this is equally, if not better, as good as the last one.
Let me ask you this. Of all the things we saw in season 2, I'm just going to fight sequences. Of all of the fight sequence, what is the thing that stands out in your mind? What was the most impressive fight sequence that you saw?
Oh, I mean, I would imagine if I have to pick, I would probably go with Ahsoka's.
Okay.
Her duel at the end of her episode, and also all of her stuff on the rooftops.
That was very cool.
I thought those were great. What was yours?
Boba Fett fighting with the Tarkin stick. Tarkin stick, is that what it's called?
Yeah, from the Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
That was
Stormtrooper armor
shatter.
Yeah, that was so.
It
great.
was so we've seen lightsaber duels, and they were fantastic lightsaber duels, and we have not seen live action Ahsoka. However, I will say the very last episode of Clone Wars was actually tracked with people.
Oh, that's cool.
It wasn't animated. They actually got Ray Park, and I forgot who was the stand-in for Ahsoka's fight sequence, but it was actually filmed with motion capture. So we've kind of gotten that fluid lightsaber fighting. We have never seen Stormtrooper armor shatter like that. And
it felt so good.
Goodness, it was
so good to finally see that happen.
It was such a not Star Wars fight.
Yeah.
So it just stands out to me as something it really captured this season of Mandalorian was so crazy because it was so iconically Star Wars with space battles and lightsabers, but then it was so iconically a Western.
Oh, it was very much a Western.
And
every episode was like a different aspect of a Western.
And I'm going to say something bold here, Sketch.
Okay, sure.
I think it did it better than Firefly.
That is bold.
But a lot of the aesthetics of Mandalorian are very Firefly.
Oh yeah.
But I think it did space Western better than Firefly. Firefly was a space Western in how they spoke and how they looked and how they fought. This follows the conventions of a Western.
Yeah, no, I agree. Firefly is a little more on the nose as far as a Western goes. And this is more Western in tone. I don't want to say I forgot about that fight scene. I guess I wasn't. I was trying to think of a hand-to-hand, but you're right. That's still a hand-to-hand fight scene. But that whole fight scene is epic too, just because you got Mando and you got Boba and you got his right hand woman now. forget her in universe name.
Ming
She's
Na
the
Wen.
sniper.
Yeah, I can't think of
And
the Crash.
just watching the three of them like effortlessly have each other's backs, and not we're not to the point yet where they really have each other's backs because there's any sort of camaraderie between them.
Right.
It's just like, okay, we got to get through this. My best chances are, okay, I don't let Mando die because he's a good fighter, and I better not let Boba die because like everyone's just covering everyone else just to get through this. And then at the end of that, you effing find out that Boba's like this honorable, chill guy.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I made you a promise, and I'm going to still upkeep the promise.
My armor for the kid's safety. I got my armor. The kid's not armor
just in time. Oh, guys. Guys.
I'm a sucker for a ship sketch.
I'm a sucker for a good ship.
I believe that's what we took from Mando.
It might be. So we didn't took helmets.
I don't think we took the Razor Crest.
No, maybe we didn't take the Razor Crest. We took the helmets.
It's a little late now.
Which was timing.
Timing. Well,
it's never too late. You took the catamaran from Waterworld.
Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Razor Crest blown to pieces. I mean, this ship has taken some hits over the course of the show. So you're always like, it can come. It'll be fine. They'll find some Jawas. They'll put it back together. Everything will be fine. There is nothing left of the Razor Crest except that little shift knob that Grogu likes to play with. That is it. Everything else is gone. I'm pretty sure there were people like stuck in carbonite in the hold of the Razor Crest.
There still might have been.
They're done. They're gone.
Yeah. But that's on Moff Gideon.
That is on Moff Gideon, yes.
They did a really nice job this season of like the first half of the season. The Razor Crest is just getting the shit kicked out of it.
At one point, it's like held together with seaweed.
Yeah. At one point, it's like fixed by Mon Calamari, and so it's like kind of aquatic in some senses. Then it gets patched together a little bit better, and it takes more of a lick. And then you're like, okay, we're good now.
Yeah.
Kaboom. No build up, no nothing, just kaboom. Razor Crest out. Just so many epic moments of this season. What would you say, as long as we're talking about like what parts stand out to you, what was your standout episode? Do you have a standout episode? Because I have one that really stands out to me.
The standout episode of season 2 for me, I don't know episode titles.
I also don't know episode titles. You can just describe.
Sure. The episode that really stood out to me was Ahsoka's episode.
Yeah.
I think it's just called Ahsoka, right? Or the Jedi.
It's called Jedi.
The Jedi.
It's Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi. It's called.
Because that could mean Ahsoka. Yeah. That could mean the Jedi Order. That could mean
now
Grogu,
the money, the safe money for who was going to like show up was
Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka was going to show up at the end.
At the end, but the of who Ahsoka was going to hand him off to, or who the Jedi was going to be, because we know Ahsoka is not a Jedi.
Not a Jedi.
So titling the episode Jedi, everyone thought that we were going to get Sam L. Jackson.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Everyone thought they were going to because people have been saying that his character, I'm blanking on his character name, Mace Windu.
Mace Windu.
That Mace Windu's not dead. He just got his hand cut off and thrown out a window. He's not dead. He's out there somewhere.
People have survived
more. They've worse injuries
than that. And he was incredibly strong in the Force.
Yes.
It would not be a leap if they brought him back. You can't call bullshit. If they brought back the Emperor, you basically
can bring back anyone. Yeah,
you can't call bullshit on anyone at this point. So, no, that episode was fantastic. That's the issue here. All these episodes are freaking great, but I'll tell you my favorite episode.
Okay.
Again, I don't remember the name of it, but there's this frog woman and she has a lot of eggs.
Really?
Right? No, I'm just kidding. What ended up, I think, being, I'm just kidding. I'm just everyone calm down. Pandemonium in the streets right now. Listen, Ahsoka, I geeked out hard. Luke at the end, geeked out.
Okay, well, spoilers.
We said at the very beginning of talking about this, spoilers for all this. Bo-Katan, all of these things I geeked out really hard. But what episode really stuck with me was Bill Burr's.
Bill Burr's episode. Oh my goodness. Now that you say that, so interesting. Yeah, that was such a great episode.
That was just to see.
Man, so much happened this season. For some reason I was blanking and thinking that was season 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was introduced in season 1, but he got to come back in season 2, kind of like a little redemption for him. And it was just...
That was a great episode.
With kind of how almost borderline mustache twirling we're starting to turn the Empire / First Order into. It was so nice to get that journey of an ex-Imperial officer and like the PTSD he has and the regret he has and the grief over his fallen comrades and like...
This show is so nuanced.
If you had told me 4 years ago that Bill Burr was going to give me that performance, I would have been like, that's bullshit.
I mean, we've talked about, I'm not a Bill Burr fan. Like I don't find him particularly compelling as an actor, and I don't find him particularly funny. Like that like kind of Boston funny doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Boston crass.
Yeah. Sure. In a similar way that Mark Wahlberg just doesn't like put Mark Wahlberg in a movie and I'm probably not going to like it.
Yeah.
Really with spoilers for the Uncharted movie. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Let's see how that lands.
But yeah, I mean, he sold it. He sold that episode too. And
that episode was so heavy. It was in such a great way.
Yeah. I totally forgot about, I would agree that I think that was one of the best episodes of the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did not stand out in my mind, though.
They're all fantastic. That's the thing. They're all fantastic. But I think what stands out about that one to me is like, what really grabbed me was just like the story and the delivery, like the acting of that episode. Whereas so many other episodes, what really stands out to me is like the big geek out moment. Right. Which I love a good geek out moment, of course.
And this series gave us, I mean, the most amazing geek out moment of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
My name is Jon Favreau. This is Dave Filoni. Fuck you, Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
That was literally what happened on screen.
It was a big FU. Good on Mark Hamill for keeping that one under wraps.
Did you see his Twitter that day?
The one that was just like anything good on TV today? Or, yeah.
So good.
What a sneaky what a cheeky guy.
His social media game is so strong.
Yeah. He is really on social media. He is to me the wit and humor of the Joker with the benevolence of Luke. He's those two characters. Not a lot of Ozai comes out on his Twitter.
No. Very
Ozai's
rare.
Departure.
Very rare.
And very little Tobias from SeeKwest comes out
every once in a while.
Every once in a while, it comes
out. A little Tobias.
Yeah.
He has had a long and storied career.
That, dear God, when Red 5 shows up.
Oh my goodness. Alone X-Wing.
What was a lone X-Wing gonna do?
One X-Wing were saved.
Yeah. And little did she know.
Did you... At what point did you like it's Luke Skywalker and lose it?
Literally X-Wing.
When Red 5 showed up?
When Red 5 showed up and you got the iconic engine noise,
right?
And it's literally just one, I was like, holy shit, is this Luke?
Yeah.
Is this Luke? Do not tell me this is Luke.
Right.
And then, I mean, basically, the moment the cameras are on him and it's just a cloaked figure, I'm like, this is
with his lightsaber.
Luke.
Yeah.
There's no one else this could be. And then you get the iconic green saber in the black glove, and you're like,
holy shit.
Let's just
enjoy this.
Yeah.
And what's so amazing about that sequence sketch is it's a mirror image of Rogue One with Vader attacking.
Yes, it is.
It's like it is a mirror image of that sequence. So there are plenty of, maybe we'll put it in the show notes. There's a great video out there that like syncs the two up to play them almost side by side. And this whole experience of Mandalorian and this episode was, I really feel like, and not in a belligerent way, this is Favreau and Filoni saying, Disney, you fucked up, but we can fix this.
Yeah.
and not in like
it does give hope.
It's not them throwing up a middle finger to fuck you, Rian Johnson. We've talked at length.
Us.
That's us.
We're
This is Favreau
Jedi.
and Filoni saying like we can still
we can bring it back.
bring it. We can tell a story in which your story makes sense. Because one thing we never talked about in Last Jedi, and we have to I would like to sidebar to Last Jedi for a moment. One of the things we never talked about for Luke was, how did he go from the most hopeful guy in the galaxy? We asked the question, but we never tried to posit it. The most hopeful guy in the galaxy to burn it all down, the Jedi, the Sith, let the past die. What did he like? He had one fuck up, and arguably wasn't a fuck up, just a really shitty position to be in. Yeah. My nephew has been corrupted by the dark side. The last time this happened, all of the Jedi died.
Yep.
Like,
it's a tough situation.
It is. What else?
And he had a moment of doubt. It's not like he was falling through on it. He had a moment.
He didn't go through
ashamed of it immediately.
He didn't go through ashamed. Like, what else happened to him?
Yeah.
What else happened to this character to bring him from the most hopeful person in the galaxy to the hopeless, cut off from the Force?
And I think we're gonna. Looks like we're gonna get it.
It looks like we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because Luke walks off with Grogu. I will give my life to protect him. I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall.
Also has to be said, has to be brought up, as great as it was to see basically Return of the Jedi Luke back in action.
Oh my goodness,
the Luke Skywalker we all needed to see. How fucking great was it to see R2 polished up, happy, chipper, showing up on the heels of his master.
Yep.
Seeing little Grogu there.
Grogu. Yeah, that was the R2. I geeked out almost as hard when R2 popped in for like 2 seconds.
And that was the cherry on top.
It was.
Because you could have left us on Luke and we would have been geeking out so hard no one would have questioned.
Yeah, that was
where's R2? But the fact that he just rolls in through all the carnage. Yeah. And it's just like,
right.
And you're like, oh my God, he's happy.
Yeah.
He's happy.
Yep.
We're all going to be okay.
2020. We're going to make it through 2020. Yeah. R2's here and he's happy. It's okay. He's not in a 30-year coma.
Probably my favorite little detail of the entire second season of Mandalorian
so good
is when you compare and contrast the all the Ahsoka fight scenes and the Luke fight scenes, because obviously Luke is incredibly awesome and it's so amazing to see him fight, but when you watch Ahsoka, you're seeing someone who has like years of formal training,
right?
And like when you're watching her in that live action episode, you're like, that's a Jedi. That's a Jedi, and she knows what she's doing, right. And like she's been doing this longer than she cares to admit.
She's been doing it longer than Luke.
Yeah, and then you get to Luke, who's 100% self-taught,
right?
And like, he's slicing and dicing and crushing all this stuff, but it's it's
raw
cool moments. It's raw. It's in a lot of ways, it's like what you see us like pretending to be Jedi doing out there, just like swing this down, move this over here, force choke, whereas like
force crush.
There's a fluidity to Ahsoka, right. and there's a raw just kind of power that Luke has. I loved the difference between
Luke is all like channeling the Force and just brute force, blunt force trauma.
Yep.
And Ahsoka's an artist.
Yeah, she's a leaf on the wind.
Watch her
fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and Luke is just a battering ram.
Yeah. And I love that he just ends it with the crush.
And I mean, there's some foreshadowing.
Oh, your daddy's coming out here there, Luke. Little daddy's coming out. And he just like the door opens. He's like, hi, everybody. Yeah. I'm super chill.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Totally just crushed something to death.
Yeah.
I'm calm.
At first, when they introduced the, like the mega death troopers or whatever, I was like, oh, are we
dark
back
troopers
to droids again? And they were really careful to put in that line of like, oh, there is no humanity left to them. They are all programming. They're basically droids.
Right.
Which is like,
they're Vader. They're like a platoon of Vaders.
But even more like
more robotic and cold.
More robotic. Yeah. And that was just like, okay, now we have permission to just destroy them as mercilessly as possible.
Right. Yeah.
And Luke is still an okay guy.
Yep.
Like you're not getting like the Wilhelm scream coming off of them as they're like plummeting through the doors. Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Just such a great season. And I'm this is organic raw geek out here, guys. Do you have a score for Mandalorian season 2?
I have the all important internet scores.
Oh, well, let's see. What does the internet say?
The internet says Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
IMDb gives it an 8.8.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 93% critic score, 91% fan score. That's rare.
Interesting.
And 97% of Google reviewers fucking loved season 2 of Mandalorian.
Excellent.
I gave it a 100%.
Yep. I am right there with you. I have nothing bad to say. I would watch the shit out of any episode of this season again.
Yep.
I have already.
Yeah.
I
don't care to admit how many times I've watched that last episode.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, you know what is another really...
The whole episode is good. And I mean, the last 10 minutes are just icing on the cake.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that was the whole series.
When he fights the Dark Trooper.
Oh yeah. When Mando
fights the Dark Trooper, you're just, oh my God. I mean, I was afraid for him. I mean, we've got Boba Fett. So if he dies, there's still a Mandalorian.
Right. So there's still technically, it was funny how that in your mind gave you like okay,
Jeopardy.
Boba's alive now. There is no plot armor anymore for Mando. He really could die
at
here
any moment.
And the suspense of him like flushing them all out of the system. The sigh of relief I had was palpable. And then when they all showed back up, I was like,
oh shit.
Because he barely took out one.
Yes.
Like, and he's awesome.
Right.
And he barely took out one. When that guy is wailing on his helmet, I was like getting a headache.
That is a concussion.
Imagine if that was a stormtrooper.
Turn down the lights. Oh my goodness. If that was a stormtrooper, would have shattered. Like just jelly on the wall.
Yeah.
Don't let that. Yeah. Don't picture it.
Don't picture it.
Brain jelly on the wall.
Another little really nice touch that I liked was and it comes from arguably the weakest episode when they're on the snow planet and they're being attacked by all those spider creatures. Those spider creatures were from the concept art for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
they were supposed to be on Hoth.
Yep.
And so, like, I don't know. To me, that just shows the care.
Yeah,
like
that
shows
episode
the devotion.
Had one of my favorite moments when the X-wing guys showed up.
Oh yeah, when they just show up.
Yeah, when Appa from Kim's Convenience shows up,
and
we've already talked at length about.
Yeah, I think in a midstream when we were talking about the big Disney announcements. They show up, they kind of clear it, and they're just kind of like
Hyung Lee.
And they just kind of like nod of understanding. Like, okay, yeah, just get that transponder fixed. And leave.
All's forgiven.
And and that's nice because that comes back a little bit with Bill Burr's character at the end. Where they're like, oh, it's a shame he didn't make it out alive.
Yep.
Bill Burr's like,
what?
What? Because you can see on his face that he's like, they're gonna fucking kill me. Like, this is it. My job is done. And the slow realization on his face that like,
run away,
what they're doing.
Run away.
It was great. It was just a great episode. The whole season, so flipping
so good. Sketch, can I ask you? Did you see Mark Hamill's eventual what he said about returning to Mandalorian and Star Wars and Luke Hamill?
I have the quote here. Read it. Read it to all of us.
This is 2 weeks after the episode aired. Sometimes the greatest gifts are the most unexpected and something you never realized you wanted until it was given.
Yeah.
And finished the post with hashtag thank you, John and Dave.
Yeah. There you go.
And then very recently, Peyton Reed, who directed the episode, tweeted this to Mark Hamill, and it's a picture of Luke. It's from a scene that's never made it into the movie. It's Luke with like a floppy hat and goggles on, getting into the land speeder. You've seen it, but it was never in the movie.
Yep.
And he says, when I was a kid, this photo hung on my bedroom wall. Star Wars and Luke Skywalker in particular meant a great deal to me. Some things never change. It was an honor and a dream come true to work with you on The Mandalorian. Thank you. And then Mark Hamill tweeted back at Mr. Peyton Reed, I'm so grateful to have been given the unexpected opportunity to revisit my character when he was still a symbol of hope and optimism. Your assured direction and kindness was a crucial element in the experience and means more to me than I can say. My goodness. I mean, just contrast that from the press junket of Last Jedi. Like, I mean, say no more. And what a gentleman that he just doesn't say, fuck you, Rian Johnson.
Yeah, he leaves that
every interview
to people on the internet.
We got you, Mark.
But
he's a long-time listener.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Yeah,
and Mark, we love you.
We do.
The thing that was just the thing that has to be said after this, and I think I texted you immediately. I texted other friends of mine immediately. Was just like,
I'm sorry, you have other friends? What?
I do have a couple others. They are imaginary, but I still text them.
Special.
You can still deliver what fans want and still make things good. Like, just because it's the direction that the story was going in and everyone wants to see this.
Right.
Okay, sure. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You can still do
and you
great
can
things with
still
that.
Subvert expectations.
Absolutely.
You can give the legacy fans what they want. You can still give new fans an entry point into the universe, and you can still subvert expectations without breaking the universe. And I think
we said that a little bit at the beginning when we talked about Mandalorian season 1. And I think this season just proves that even more.
Now, I strongly agree with that, Sketch. Now, there has been somewhat of a backlash to season 2 because fans did complain that it connected something that was seemingly unconnected to the quote unquote Skywalker saga to it. Mm-hmm. And to that, I just say bullshit, nonsense. Star Wars will always be connected to the Skywalker saga.
Yeah,
because it is Star Wars. You could change the name of Star Wars to the Skywalker saga. You could tell other stories in the universe, but it's always going to come back to Luke, Leia, and Darth Vader. Period. End of story. Bullshit.
And it shouldn't. I mean, bringing Luke in specifically and blatantly, that was a big surprise. But it shouldn't surprise anyone that it was going there. The moment you have a new Force user in the same era of fresh after the Empire, it's the writing's on the wall.
There's literally
that are going to cross.
One Jedi that we know of alive in the universe.
Yeah.
Where else are they going to go? Some like rando. People were speculating live action Ezra, Cal Kestis from the new Star Wars game, Fallen Order. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Mace Windu, Ahsoka. Really, when we talk about Jedi in the 5-year period after Battle of Endor, there's one Jedi that is most famous. Really, come on.
And doing stuff. Everyone else is still going to be
Everyone else is still hesitant. Yes, exactly.
Except you got Ahsoka out there because she's no Jedi. And she's just getting shit done.
Yeah.
And if they're going to bring Ezra back, they're going to bring him back in Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I'm all for.
I am also all for.
I want to see the continuation of
I do Rebels. Yeah,
of
his story.
Rebels. All right, before we move on, I do have a couple big questions for you.
I don't have any big questions, but I do have not quite a sketchy theory, but my thought of what Mandalorian is and where it's going.
Okay, go ahead. Leave it on us.
Let's do your big questions.
Okay. Well, I mean, my big questions really will lend to your sketchy theory because my big questions are not anything about, how come this didn't work, or how come this happened, or blah blah blah. It's basically where they're going from here.
Oh, okay,
so
sure.
Number one, big question. Number one, do you think we're gonna get some Sabine Wren next season?
Oh, absolutely.
I really feel like
absolutely
now's the time to bring in
strong
Sabine.
agree.
Yeah,
strong
because I'm feeling like now that Grogu has gone off, I'm feeling like we can do a substantial enough time jump where like Mando is, well, you know, he has the Darksaber now, and that's a whole conflict in and of itself, and he's starting to see the direction of the other Mandalorians,
right.
the truer Mandalorians. I'm guessing season 2 is going to be season 3 is going to be a real kind of like soul searching episode of what it means to be a Mandalorian. And I feel like that's where Sabine's going to come in.
I agree.
And really bridge a divide.
Yep.
A bit here.
Because Sabine is a foundling as well, right?
I don't know, because her mom was like effing royalty.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
She's like back. Mandalorian effing royalty.
Sorry.
But she's definitely
outside of
I mean, she's an artist in a society of warriors.
Yeah.
So she's definitely other than the main contingency.
Yeah, I think she will be essential too. And I feel like Bo-Katan is also going to feature heavily in that.
Oh series. Yeah, Bo-Katan. Yeah. It's going to be a heavy Bo-Katan episode. I mean season. Yeah. The big question number 2: who do you theorize got Grogu out of the Jedi Temple? Because obviously Anakin didn't slaughter him.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Who I can't think of her name. The librarian.
Oh, could be the librarian.
The librarian is my aunt's. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I can't either.
Because they did a huge arc with her in season 1 of Clone Wars for Ahsoka to not be super annoying. And I mean, she was just like so
could be her.
I
hadn't even considered her.
And we know she didn't make it out of the temple.
Yep.
But we also know that she went on like a mission before she died in the temple. Yeah. Or possibly Mace Windu.
Yeah, I mean, I lean a little bit towards Mace Windu, just with those speculations that he could be kicking around.
But then why didn't he try and save any of the other Padawans?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could say is like
he only had one hand.
Maybe he didn't survive the extraction.
Oh, the extraction.
You know, he was already pretty beat up.
That's true.
It's not. We won't necessarily find out who done it, and even if we find out who done it, it's not like we're necessarily going to see them show back up. Oh, Grogu, I haven't seen you for 50 years. Right. I got you. Oh, it's going to be that 4-armed diner chef that Obi-Wan talks to and. Attack of the Clones, Drax or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. Those are my big questions. Are those two? I mean, it's just so it's fun. It's funny. Star Wars is fun again. You can really geek out about stuff and be excited about what's coming, and
you can just be excited. There's wonder. There's wonder in the world of Star Wars again.
And there's a trust. There's a trust there that lets you be excited because you're like, I hope they don't fuck it up.
Right.
No, I'm trusting at this point. Hashtag thank you, Dave and John.
Thank you, Dave. Yes. Hashtag thank you, Dave and John. All right. So it's not really a sketchy. It's like a sketchy. It's like a shadesy allegory.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Shady allegory.
Shady allegory.
For Mandalorian.
Yep.
Okay, so here's how I think about this universe. This whole show. Din Djarin, the Mandalorian.
Yep.
Is a stand-in for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Okay.
They exist within a company after the fall of a great society. The battle was won. The people who inherited the remnants of the Empire and the New Republic failed. And Grogu represents the new Star Wars fandom. and they are shepherding him through a galaxy that we recognize but no longer feels familiar, where there is treachery at every turn, and people within the universe, within the New Republic, actively working to bring about its demise.
Yeah.
And they are trying to ferry this fandom, Grogu, Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him, to where he needs to be, so that he can grow, mature, and flourish.
I love it.
And I love that. I think the Grogu story is over. I don't think we're going to see Grogu again.
I agree. I do think we'll see him again, but no longer as a major character.
Correct.
I think
his story arc is done.
His story arc is done, and he'll come back in the future to help Mando's story continue on, but in no great
capacity.
I agree with that. And I agree with you too. And I think that Grogu was a great catalyst for this story. A great way to kind of bring a lot of people in who would have been hesitant to get invested in this story. And, I do feel like it's one of these "my job is done" moments. Yep. And he goes off with Luke at the end, and I'm satisfied. Yep. Like I'm completely satisfied.
And in that shady allegory, I love that they have cast the least likely disgraced race, if you will, who sided with the Empire, who lost their homeworld. Mandalore burned. The Mandalorians are scattered. The most famous Mandalorian before Sabine, Boba Fett, who was just utterly Boba Fett could be an early warning for where Star Wars was after the new trilogy. That was a character that was so hyped and then was taken out by a blind Han Solo, falling into a Sarlacc pit. Talk about subvert your expectations.
Yeah.
Subvert your expectations. This from a one-off cameo of artwork that was originally supposed to be Darth Vader's armor with no lines, and in the Life Day special, the Star Wars TV special.
Yeah.
Arguably the greatest piece of trash in the Star Wars universe prior to Last Jedi. Hot take. Shots fired.
That's fair.
Pew, pew,
Shots
pew, pew, pew,
fired.
Pew, pew.
Hey, Last Jedi doesn't have B. Arthur.
Doesn't. So I know. That's true. It's true.
Automatic. Do you think we're going to get B. Arthur in the next season?
God, I hope so.
That'd be a deep, deep cut.
A Mandalorian. And then even we can make Luke hopeful. We can make Boba Fett not stupid, and we can save Star Wars.
Yeah. So far, they're checking all the boxes.
The whole thing's riding on a Mandalorian. Holy shit.
AKA Dave and John. I love it.
A character with no home, with no place in the universe. How do you like that?
And everyone loves him.
Everyone loves him.
Yep.
And and Disney seems to be on board.
And well, they know marketing, and
they know money.
They know money. They know all of. Oh, wait a minute! People like this, and people didn't like.
I mean, here's if you're wondering where this is going, Sketch, Disney just spent probably a decade planning and building Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. And they are completely retooling it to strip away the new trilogy characters and populate Galaxy's Edge with Mandalorian characters. Yeah. One of the rides features it, you can't the ride takes place during Rise of Skywalker. Daisy Ridley filmed stuff for it. Adam Driver filmed stuff for it. It takes place during that fight sequence.
They're gonna scrap it.
I don't know if they're gonna scrap it, but it's gonna certainly be out of place.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know where Disney is.
Oh yeah. We know where Disney is. All right. Before we move on from Mando and Star Wars and the Star Wars universe, I will say, and not to talk about Last Jedi, because that's a dead tauntaun that we're just slicing open. But I was thinking the other day,
outside,
and I think that fit.
Thank you.
That fit nicely. I was just thinking the other day, and I think the biggest misstep for me for the entire effing sequel trilogy, and maybe I've said this before on the show, but I was just really looking inward and really thinking about this the other day. I think the biggest misstep was basically Finn, and that Finn went kind of nowhere, and he was set up to be this grand, amazing character, and like this notion, because it was talking about subvert your expectations. I mean, the original trailers to Force Awakens, you're led to believe that Finn is going to be the Jedi of this. Well,
Finn was supposed to be the Jedi of this trilogy until Rian Johnson got his hands on the franchise.
And what an amazing, amazing story that would have been. A former stormtrooper taking up the mantle of Jedi. But and that, of course,
missed opportunity.
Nothing against what's his name, John, who played Finn,
John Boyega.
I think he would have. I don't know John personally. I'd love to, but I imagine he must feel similarly. He's feel
been pretty outspoken
about what happened to his character,
his experience working on Star Wars, and how he will never work on Star Wars again.
Yeah. It was just it's to me, I guess, all wrapped up. It's just kind of an unforgivable missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Right there.
Strong agree.
But Mandalorian,
I mean,
although it can't fix the sequels, is doing a great job of honoring the legacy of Star Wars. And I am very much looking forward to season 3. Very much.
Oh, strong agree. And
I'm even looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would we had said that a year ago? No. But God damn it, Mandalorian season 2, you got us on board with Boba Fett.
And I've heard that Luke Skywalker is going to be the Nick Fury of this new universe that they're creating. That's fair.
I think that's fair.
I love that.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
I mean, he's a huge character. It cannot be ignored. I almost see him as like almost like a Gandalf character at this point.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting the adventure started a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy for Mark Hamill.
Me too.
Because for 40 years, really, 30 years, basically 40 years. 40 years, he's been ready and waiting.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And he went on every talk show. He did every goofy, like, PR. I don't know how many fucking times he was on The Simpsons. As like Mark Hamill, as Luke Skywalker, as he's done everything. Futurama, like he has been the guy out there. Never knocked Star Wars.
Yeah. And then look what Star Wars did to him.
Look what Star Wars did to him, and I just feel so happy for him that he got to play Luke one more time.
Absolutely.
Like actually play Luke. Yeah, this Luke. Return of the Jedi, Luke. Height of his power, hopeful Luke Skywalker, his whole life ahead of him. Yeah. That's really special.
I am right there with you. Mark, we love you.
And even more so that he was actually on set. Like,
yeah, it's amazing.
It really is. Good job keeping that secret.
Season 2, high praise.
We loved it.
From Shades and Sketch.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Should we see what's on the other side of door number 2? Sketch.
Go out of the other door. Oh, look. It's also Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. I guess we should have called this the Pedro Pascal episode.
This should have been the Pedro Pascal episode. That was a misstep.
Whoops.
And sand.
Yeah.
And sand.
This episode of Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch brought to you by Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal, the guy you love to hate to love. To hate.
Guy you love to hate to love. Sure.
Yeah.
That's enough double, triple negatives.
Yeah, sure.
The math checks out.
Thank you.
Okay, so guys, Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
No, we need to discuss it because
it was the very first episode of the podcast, and
very first episode.
I feel like this is where I should cut in some of the first episode, or maybe we should release the first episode as a re-release along with this episode sketch. Maybe we did. Maybe we did that. I don't know.
We already did.
Yeah.
Look at how good planning we had.
Done. I won't edit that.
We
loved this movie.
A couple of things before we get into Wonder Woman 84. Another reason why I think it's important to talk about is because this is a brave new world in terms of movie distribution.
Yes.
And I do think HBO and Warner Brothers and all of that did the right thing here.
Strong agree.
By releasing the movie. I mean, obviously they pushed it off. It was supposed to come out.
It got pushed back once because they wanted it to premiere at as a summer blockbuster. It originally had a November 2019 release, and that felt that was not the release date they wanted, but because other things were being released and moved around, that's where it wound up. And
business.
And the Wonder Woman 84 team fought pretty strongly to get it a summer release.
Yep.
And they did. So it was going to come out in its original release date was set to be in the summer of 2020. And we know how that worked out.
And things happened.
Things went wrong.
And so it kept getting, it fell into the limbo that basically all movies are, like Black Widow, still like what's going on there. But anywho, so then they choose to release it for Christmas on HBO Max, kind of like as a flagship thing. I mean, HBO has had all of these streaming services already, but
yes,
they've
like consolidated everything. Yeah. Warner Brothers, all of the HBOs into HBO Max.
And like it starts off with Wonder Woman 84, and regardless of what I think of the movie,
that was the right decision. Now it was the right decision always.
Yep.
To quote,
and you know what, they put it out there.
Oh boy, okay.
They put it out there for a month, and then they took it down, and I'm fine with that.
I'm also fine with that. Yeah,
that seems completely reasonable for me. So yeah. That's the first thing I want to say about Wonder Woman. It's just the distribution.
Yeah, because in a similar vein, it's like I've said this publicly. It's getting really hard to support Ghostbusters at this point. Sony in general, but the Ghostbuster franchise, and I don't think the team working on the film really has control over it. It's Sony. They want to do a big theatrical release, but also I think the creative team could be out in front of it a little bit more.
Yeah.
The movie's been done. It was supposed to come out in March. It could have come out in March. Theaters were still open. And it's just been pushed back, and now it's pushed back to like 2022.
Yeah.
2 years after it was supposed to come out, I believe is now its release date, and that just feels wrong. So I'm right there with you.
It feels
right
like
decision.
The writing is on the wall with all of these money-driven decisions.
Yeah.
And obviously we know that all of these decisions are money-driven, but when it's so effing blatant, it makes you feel gross, and like you just don't want to care anymore.
It does, and it tells you what's important to the studio. And bottom line, of course, we know it's money. But I will say this now, and call me on it if I fall back on it. Sketch. I will not see Ghostbusters in theaters when Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out. I will not see. I don't care if it's spoiled. I really don't. That was the wrong decision. And if theaters open back up and it's still playing, I will go see Wonder Woman 3 times in theaters if it's safe for me to do so before I see Ghostbusters.
That's the key.
Because this was absolutely the right decision. And not only did they release it on HBO Max, they didn't make it like an exclusive like Disney did with Mulan, like a $30
It wasn't
exclusive.
HBO Max with an added fee.
Yeah,
it was you got HBO Max, you can watch Wonder Woman.
You can watch it, and now if you want to watch it, it's gone. So who knows what they'll do? You had a month to watch it as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be back. We know it'll be back.
I watched it as many times as I wanted.
Me too.
Maybe one too many.
Yeah, yikes.
No, I'm getting the guys. We're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get there.
So, long story short, this movie was supposed to come out in November of 2019, and eventually finally came out in December,
late December of 2020,
basically 2021. But okay, rarely do we say anything nice about Warner Brothers, so let's cut it now.
We'll stop it there.
This gets egregious.
Yep. All right, you got some all-important internet scores before we get into this?
I do. I would just, I'll just say I have a little bit of history for the development.
You do?
Yeah, Patty Jenkins originally only signed on for one film. Mm-hmm. But the experience and the positive reception from the film, she expressed interest in returning. June 2017, in an interview with Variety, comic book writer Jeff Johns revealed that he and Jenkins had started writing the treatment for the Wonder Woman sequel, and he had a cool idea for a second one. While speaking in a Q&A at the Women in Film screening of the film Wonder Woman, Jenkins stated that she would indeed direct the sequel, and later clarified that it wasn't a confirmation, that she was just talking about ideas. If they wanted her, she would do it. It was announced on July 22nd, 2017 at Comic-Con that they officially announced the sequel, and that Patty Jenkins was not only directing but co-writing with Jeff Johns. That Expendables, the Expendables writer David Callum would also join to co-write with Johns and Jenkins. And in late 2018, the longtime DCEU producer Zack Snyder confirmed in a social media platform with Vero that he, along with his wife Deborah Snyder, would serve as producers on the Wonder Woman sequel, but that he would not be working as a scriptwriter. So he had a scriptwriter credit on the first Wonder Woman. He did not have a scriptwriter credit on the second Wonder Woman. And on June 13th, 2018, the title was announced Wonder Woman 1984, and it was described as a standalone film in the same way that Indiana Jones or James Bond are standalone films instead of a continuous story that requires many installments.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's what we got, but that's what she said.
I also don't think that's what we got, but okay, we're going to get there. Okay. Do you have just there in your information, who wrote the first one? Who wrote Wonder Woman 1?
I don't have that in front of me. Bugger.
That's fine. But it wasn't the same people.
No. I'll find it.
Okay. We'll find it, guys. This is 2021.
Maybe I'll edit this out. Maybe I won't. You never know. Probably not. The first Wonder Woman movie. Wonder Woman movie.
Our first episode.
Yeah.
Which, once again, before we get into Wonder Woman 84, we effing loved Wonder Woman. We gave that thing high scores. We loved that movie. It launched our podcast because we were like, you know what? It's time to take our message to the people.
Yeah. Screenplay by Alan Heinenberg. Story by Zack Snyder, Alan Heinberg, and Jason Fuchs. Okay.
So really no overlap.
No, none whatsoever.
No. Okay. That's important to note.
Here's my hot take on Wonder Woman 1984. Soft reboot gone wrong.
Soft reboot gone wrong.
Yep.
Sure. I'll take it.
My opinion is that this movie suffered from the success of Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
And Aquaman, making films that were standalone, not interconnected to the larger DC. Well, because spoiler alert, Snyder Cut is real. It's coming out March 18th, 2021.
Woo! Is that going to be an episode?
I mean,
you bet your asses it's going to be an episode.
Sweet sassy, it's going to be an episode. We might actually finally do Batman versus Superman.
We actually might.
We'll see. But yeah, this was a soft reboot of the universe. It felt like to me.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I don't know what this was. I have a hard time sticking. I really have a hard time of where this exists, because
you're not alone.
Because the whole effing premise of the movie is completely dependent on the events of the first movie.
Correct. And maybe that's what she meant with, like, you don't have to watch all of the Bond movies to know what's happening in a Bond movie, but you know that they're all connected somehow.
Yeah, I
or
guess.
Like Raiders can stand on its own.
Sure.
Last Crusade can stand on its own.
Yeah, but
Temple is just a weird
stand
movie.
On its own?
I don't think this could stand on its own. I don't think it can.
All right, I want to get into specifics, but do you have some all-important internet scores?
I do. You know I have all-important internet scores. Sketch. Okay, IMDb 5.4.
Whoa, yikes.
I just clicked on Rotten Tomatoes, and what image do you think I got? Lasso in the lightning.
Oh yeah, classic.
Hashtag lasso in the lightning. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 60%, fan score 74%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This feels like it might be the lowest ever. 67% of Google reviewers liked
Google?
This movie.
Wow. Okay.
I worked really hard on this score sketch.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time scribbling and crossing out, but I settled on a solid 60. I'm right in lockstep with these scores.
Very good. Very
Sketch,
good.
What did you give Wonder Woman 1984?
Let me say the number and then I'll explain it. Okay. Because you're going to go off on me here.
Okay.
I gave it a 49.
Whoa!
Told you going to go off on me. Oh my
goodness, Sketch. That,
and it's based specifically on the fact that I kind of famously at this point, I mean, it's all over the tabloids. It's something I can't live down. I gave Rogue Squadron a 50.
Yeah.
And I had to.
Rogue One.
Rogue One a 50. And I had to ask myself, which of these two
would you watch again?
Would I watch again? And did I think had less egregious sins? And I thought it was a squeaker, but I think I would watch Rogue One over Wonder Woman 84. The thing is, and I'll just say it right off the bat, this is how I described it to a friend of mine. I feel like they listened to our episode, our first episode, of everything we effing loved about that movie,
and took it out.
And we gave that thing like a 90s,
yeah.
Right?
We were both in the 90s.
We only had like a 10% rant. And then I feel like they were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make a full-length movie of that 10% rant.
Yep.
You know, and it just felt like, I still feel like Wonder Woman, thankfully, the first movie can stand on its own, and this doesn't like take away from it. But it really, like, this movie took so much of what was great about the first one and gave us instead like what you were worried going into the original Wonder Woman that it was going to be.
Strong agree. Interesting. On that metric, I guess I stand by my score, because if I had to watch one of those two movies again, I would watch Wonder Woman 1984. Okay. And solely on the chemistry between Chris Pine and Gal Gadot. Their on-screen chemistry is fantastic. However, if you hang the whole character's motivation for being a hero on the death of the character, you cannot then bring back that character.
Yes.
So that was a major
100%.
I get why they did it. Major misstep. Misstep.
Also, I mean, there were a lot of elements.
I mean, should we just get to the elephant in the room?
Okay, I have a lot of elements. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's work through them organically then.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of elements, but I found the construction of this story, like none of those characters in Rogue One were like remotely good people.
No.
So I guess I had more fun with 1984. So I'll at least enjoy that.
Maybe I would have had more fun. I mean, it certainly helps that it was streaming and I could like pause and like be like, what the?
I mean, that said, like, this movie is fucking bonkers.
It's crazy. And
it is bonkers.
There are aspects of it that I really feel like the original Wonder Woman did such a good job of
this is
avoiding a lot of like the classic tropes,
all of
that
them
you could have gone with, that would have really diminished like the message and the power of having Wonder Woman on screen at long last.
Right.
And then this movie just like went full tilt into
yes. I mean, the story of our experience with Wonder Woman can probably be encapsulated in two images. And if you were to put those two images side by side, it would be on the left would be Wonder Woman charging through no man's land with a sword and shield.
Yep.
And then on the right panel, Wonder Woman ballet gliding through the air.
And that was exactly what I thought.
Full male, like it's just a movie. Wonder Woman 1984 seems to be a movie shot entirely through the male gaze, which makes
that's what I was thinking.
Fucking sense to me.
It makes no sense
whatsoever.
To me.
Because I mean, the criticism of like the Amazons and all of these things has always been Zack Snyder like puts women in like revealing clothing and objectifies them. I didn't get that from Justice League or Wonder Woman, but that's the criticism, and I think that's a fair criticism. At every time Wonder Woman is on screen, she's not fighting; she's like doing ice dancing. I mean, she literally, when she fights, she looks like she's ice dancing.
Yeah,
she glides on, like she slides as if the floor is like coated in olive oil.
It's funny, good Greek joke.
Thank you.
It's
unintended,
funny
but
because I thought the exact same thing after watching this movie. I was like, okay,
what
obviously iconic scene from first movie is Wonder Woman just charging into no man's land. I mean, she is a fucking badass,
like battering ram. Yeah,
man's war, yada yada yada. Fantastic. What's my equivalent in this movie? And I just came up short. I was like, I have nothing in this movie that screams to me that power of Wonder Woman.
What I love about Diana, Princess of Themyscira, is that she, like, of all of the characters in the Justice League, she's the jock. And what I mean by that is she is the one that thirsts for battle and glory. And her fury is tempered only by her compassion and mercy because she's a god. Where was that in this movie? They fucking took her sword and shield away.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Yep. We've had jumping the shark, which was replaced by nuking the fridge, which will be forever entombed by lassoing the lightning, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was
what is another thing that stood out to me. Lasso of truth?
Oh, it's infinite. It's basically Peter Parker's webbing at this point.
Swinging from fucking lightning. Also, I don't think they understand the laws of flight.
Yeah, and we're going to get there.
They understand flight.
Just a moment. But I was thinking the same thing. I mean, the fight scenes in Wonder Woman, the first one, are iconic because Diana is just so almost poetic in her fighting. And it's really about her, and the shield and the sword are extensions of her body. And in this movie, those are replaced almost entirely. I mean, they're completely replaced. There is no sword, there is no shield. And she fights almost entirely with the lasso, which means that when you're watching this, all of the action you're watching is 100%
CGI,
computer generated. And it's not like Wonder Woman, if you're glancing off at her while the rope is doing all this stuff, she's really not.
She's just standing there and moving her arm.
Yeah. Which. So to me, it felt like when you watch Doctor Strange and like the cape does so much.
Yes.
But that's like a great fun gimmick in Doctor Strange, so it works. In this, it's like, I don't think
they were all glamour shots. I mean, I'm just looking at the images from this movie. They're all just glamour shots. They're all just like coy glamour shots from like everything that I can't. We have a rule on this show, Sketch. If you set a movie in the 80s, you will give it an 80.
I'll give it in the 80s.
I fucking love it. And this movie breaks that rule.
Breaks the rule?
It just breaks it in every single way. That's been a rule on this show for 2 seasons, almost 4 years.
They disregarded every rule, so we can too.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into the nitty gritty of our rants here, do you have any raves for this movie? Do you have any good things to say? I have a couple.
It did a fine job of weaving in the larger legacy of the Wonder Woman character. I think for much of Wonder Woman's tenure in comics, this is who that character was.
Yep. The question is that who we need right now?
Or is that who the character should that legacy be embraced?
Yeah.
My answer is no, but I think it did a great job of embracing the 70-year history, 80-year history, I guess, of Wonder Woman. Do you have a rave?
One of the things I liked, I did really like the Linda Carter cameo at the end.
That was fantastic.
The way they wove her into the story as Hestia, the ancient Amazonian defender. Liked that. That was like a nice in a movie where there wasn't a lot of there was a lot of "it's Robin" moments in this movie. All right, the writing was not subtle in this movie. There's a lot of hit you over the head with certain things. Linda Carter just kind of popping up at the end without like over the top fanfare. It's just like a little like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You're in the know now. Look at this.
Right.
Nicely handled. It was great to see Linda in one of these movies. And she's, even though she's not Wonder Woman,
right,
she's still Wonder Woman, you know?
Yeah.
Like she still gets to be Wonder Woman. That was great. Yeah. That was heartwarming in this movie. Yeah. That kind of piggybacks off yours.
Kind of. Yeah.
A little bit.
And I would say this movie was very much, it was very much trying to harken back to the tone and feel of Wonder Woman 76, as it's referred to, because that's when that series premiered, in 1976.
Which I have no history with.
It's streaming on HBO Max. You could watch it.
Yeah, but like,
I don't recommend it.
So many things are streaming right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend.
So many. I have to catch up.
Linda Carter's fantastic
Curse of Oak
in
Island, and
his Dark Materials.
Seasons of that.
There are 8 seasons of Curse of Oak Island.
Goodness gracious.
I would watch all 8 seasons of Curse of Oak Island before I watched Wonder Woman 84.
84 again. That's fair.
Gladly.
I will say I liked. This might be controversial, but I liked, in a similar way that I liked the Linda Carter thing. I did like the putting in of the invisible jet, like the way they put in the invisible jet. I have a lot to say about the jet scene, which we'll get to a little bit later. But like, okay, they took a shot at the invisible jet in a way that works in this story.
Quote unquote works. Sure. There was just
quote unquote, like,
there was just a fueled jet sitting behind the Smithsonian Air and Flight
Once
Museum.
Again, lots of problems with the scene, but the fact that like, okay, for one scene she flies the jet and she turns, like, she doesn't like, I got my invisible jet parked out back and we'll fly that to Cairo. Like, there's one scene where they have to get to Cairo. They take a jet and she turns it invisible with her godly powers. Okay,
sure.
I'm on board. I think that fits.
Sure.
I think that fits well enough for everything else.
I mean, what doesn't work is that
lightning
Steve Trevor had any idea how to start that jet.
Yes.
I mean, that was probably the most unbelievable thing in the movie. He flew a Sopwith Camel propeller biplane in World War I and just hops into a jet.
And to me, that's such the example of like the biggest problem of this movie is there's just like so many lazy setups.
Yeah, it's poorly written.
Lazy deliveries.
There's no way
like
around
that,
it.
Where it's just like, hey, he was a pilot. He can fly anything.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay.
No.
How about you give someone who hasn't answered a phone since 1950 an Apple iPhone, right? Like, are they going to take a look at it and be like, oh, yeah, okay, I got this. I can get us to Cairo.
I'm a pretty good driver, Sketch. I don't think I could successsly navigate an Abrams tank down the road.
No,
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I could safely drive it down the street.
You know how you fix that episode? I mean, that scene. You know how you fix that scene? And I'll tell you, it's simple. And I can't believe I'm the one coming up with it instead of like one of these professional writers.
Fix it.
You have that Diana has been fucking alive in this world since 1917.
She learned how to fly.
She's learned to fly over, and she knows how to fly the jet, and she's flying the jet.
Right.
And you have Steve Trevor. Like, she's not great at it.
Right.
She can take off, she can land, she can get from point A to point B. But
Steve
Trevor's still there. And he talks to her like he does in the movie about like, oh, you got to feel the wind. You got to feel you're going with it. Like, there you go. Easy
fix. Sketch. Right, great fix.
Like, honest to God, if this movie had like
such an
been
easy fix, Sketch.
If this movie had been like 100% written by a man, we'd be like, this is the most sexist piece of shit we've ever seen. Since like Wonder Woman was great, and now thank God the guy's here so he can fly her because she can't do anything on her own.
I mean, yes, if I agree with you, if this movie had, and I mean, this movie was co-written with Jeff Johns, but certainly if there was a male director helming it and it was written by a team of men, I don't think this movie would have a 60% rating because it is
so much we'd be calling out on it.
I mean, there's so much we're calling out on it already, but I mean, it was popular enough to get a Wonder Woman 3 greenlit immediately upon release.
Hey, what's Cheetah's motivation? Hey, get this. She's a broad that's jealous of another broad.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but it's so bad.
And you're like,
what?
Did you see the first movie? Did you see the motivations in that movie? That's what we're going to.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this movie is the definition of tone deaf.
Yeah.
It's the definition of it. I feel embarrassed now that I'm giving it a 60% because the more we talk about it, the more it's cringeworthy.
All right, you might want to adjust. Hey, let me ask you this. Any more raves? Because we're technically in the rave section.
I really don't have any raves for this movie, other than I'm glad that they got to make a sequel, because that would have been pretty bad if they didn't get to make a sequel after how amazing the first movie was.
Yeah, I agree. I wish it was better, but I agree that
don't understand how.
Continues.
I mean, I just don't understand how Justice League, a problematic movie, Batman versus Superman, a problematic movie. I'm not saying they're high art. I'm not saying they are the most amazing stories. They are leaps and bounds better than this movie.
Well, the thing is you'd be hard pressed in this movie to find an area that they handled well. And those movies, despite all their problems, you still had these good to excellent portions of the movie, whether it was a scene or if it was just a whole premise or a whole production value of it. I mean, the production value of this
movie felt lazy at every turn. I will just say, for a movie, we're supposed to be we're supposed to be raving.
Why don't we move on to rants? Because I really don't have any other rants. For a movie that
was set in the 1980s, my God, you fucking failed to incorporate anything iconic about the fucking 1980s.
What are you talking about? They had aerobics. And
Jesus Christ, Sketch. Come on.
A guy had a popped collar.
They put Ronald Reagan in the movie.
Ronald Reagan was in the movie.
They talked about oil. Those are the things I love about the 80s.
Right? That's what everyone
That's what
loves
I think
the
about.
80s. Yeah. They had a mall.
Jesus
The mall
Christ.
fight scene was pretty good.
I disagree.
You didn't like the mall fight scene? It was very silly.
It was slapstick.
Yeah, she's like throwing kids into things. Wonder Woman saved a lot of kids in this movie.
You know, here's a great fix for the movie, because Wonder Woman, like, nobody knows who Wonder Woman is because she was so low key and did, like, your favorite Wonder Woman comic, The Odyssey.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
To tell a Wonder Woman story where she is, and to fit in the 1980s. I believe her outfit in that is a pair of jeans and a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Which at one point Diana kind of wears in this movie.
Yeah. Kind of.
What a missed opportunity to include like some legacy.
Yeah.
Because man, does she standing in the White House? You have to believe that there isn't another, even in 1984, there isn't another like place on planet Earth with more CCTV footage than the White House.
Yes.
She fights the Secret Service, and nobody knows who Wonder Woman is. Like,
meanwhile, Batman finds one.
Lex Luthor finds one picture from 1917. And that like outs her to the world. She fights the fucking Secret Service inside the White House. Now, I get you're trying to do a standalone movie, but like, I have a brain and I can remember yesterday. So that's a big fucking problem.
Also, this event should be talked about forever because it's basically nuclear war.
Yes. Just
minus the impact.
For a movie set in the Cold War with so many allegories to nuclear war, it was surprisingly light on nuclear war.
Yeah, a lot of problems.
Can we talk about Chekhov's?
Talk about problems.
Chekhov's golden armor.
I fucking hated the golden armor,
and
the golden armor was horrible.
I was so excited because the golden armor is pretty iconic. Do you remember what the golden armor is from?
No, I don't. Tell me what the golden armor is from.
Kingdom Come.
Oh, is that from Kingdom Come?
Yes, which is heavily influenced in the 1980s, like warring superpowers. Only instead of nuclear weapons, they're superheroes. Spoiler alert!
Right.
They all get nuked at the end. The golden armor is very iconic. So when they like put that movie poster out and they showed the golden armor, I was very excited. Because I thought we were going to get more Kingdom Come.
Oh, well.
Chekhov's golden armor.
The golden armor was basically, what's that in that burlap sack?
Some golden.
That's the golden armor of my people. Like the number one defender of all time gets to wear that. So
she fought the world of men on her own and sacrificed herself.
And if you're trying to follow along with this, which I was trying to follow along and like piece things together, and you're like, okay, Diana is getting weaker because of her wish. She had this big scene with Steve talking about flying and how to fly. This fucking armor has wings on it. Okay,
you would imagine in the third act,
where this is
she's
going.
Put on the armor and fly.
And I also thought like, okay, this
armor is going to imbue her with
protect her. Yeah, because she's losing her powers. Nope, she gets her powers back. Then she puts on the armor, and then she flies. She learns to fly on her own.
Yeah,
without the armor serves
no purpose,
zero purpose,
no purpose whatsoever.
She lands with it, and you're supposed to think that it's like, okay, Hestia used it to defend against the Persians or whoever.
Asteria.
It was Asteria.
I like that. I like like that you went how to pick up girls is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon with that?
Oh yeah. And then and okay, so she fought off this whole horde of guys.
She'd
and it's forged from the
that
armor
thing like it's
and
made of tinfoil.
And again, I don't know if I've ever said on the show, that's my big problem with golden armor. Gold is a very, very weak armor
very
to
weak
make
armor.
out of, metal to make armor out of. But that thing is shredded in no time flat. It does nothing. It just reeked to me of oh, hey, we can make a new action figure.
Yes.
Because she's going to wear this for 2 scenes.
Yep.
And
I mean,
she was more protected in her like leather.
And her
armor.
leather armor was more protective than the golden winged armor. I mean,
and she goddamn didn't wear it when she was vulnerable. She only wore it when she had full power,
full beast mode, and it did not use it to fly.
And it's like, that makes no sense.
Makes no fucking sense. I mean,
you have armor with wings. It can do 2 things for you. It can protect you and it can help you fly. I'm only going to put it on after I figured out how to protect myself and fly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was like
isn't that just this movie. That is just this movie. Yeah. That's how the whole thing was written. It
is the definition of bad writing, and it is the capstone of the experience of watching this movie. I mean, Sketch, infuriating, shouting at the TV.
Yes.
Once you could argue that the armor only served to hinder her.
Yes, she had to shed it.
Yes,
she had to shed it immediately. What is the message there? That she's shedding the power of her people, or that she's no longer the defender?
I don't know.
What is the message of this movie? Like, the movie had no clear message.
It really didn't.
That's a big question for you. That was another. Can I take another?
Please, yeah.
Because I am.
You are rolling.
So mad. I am so mad.
Longtime listeners, the smoke is like pouring out of his nostrils and ears.
And again, it's because it's
so bad. It's so lazy.
Why are you so goddamn lazy? And here's another example of why it was lazy. And I'm going to start this by saying, I loved the cinematography of the opening scene on Themyscira.
Yes, it was like they were
loved it.
It's like they filmed the movie, and then like the Snyderverse was no more, and they reshot a different movie. It made
I loved that. I thought it was really beautiful.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
And it told a great part about like young Diana and all that. But then
for your time. It's not your time. Wait for your time. That never came back.
Never comes back.
Nothing
comes back from that. Also, what's the person's name? That's like her warrior mentor.
That is her aunt Antiope, who is played by Robin Wright Penn. Who is holy shit? If you're gonna get Robin Wright Penn back, if you're gonna get her back in that armor, fucking do something with her.
Do something with her.
You know what? How about use your wish to bring Antiope back? That's compelling. I can fix this movie with 2 changes.
You live, Diana, like for centuries. You knew Steve Trevor for like weeks.
Yeah.
That's like having a goldfish that died in like a month, like in our life. Like, do you wish that back? Like, am I going to be like on my deathbed being like, oh, Bubbles, if only.
Did you have a gold?
I had one more day.
Did you have a goldfish named Bubbles?
I probably had one named Bubbles at some point.
That's adorable.
My longest lasting fish his name was Sam. Not a very creative name for a fish, but hey,
Sam.
I was saving up my creativity for later in life.
Yeah.
But here's my end problem with Antiope. Mm-hmm. That's her name. Why does she fucking jump to that Diana cheated? Diana is miles away.
Right.
No one sees what's going on. Diana, all she has to go off of is that her flag isn't moving down anymore because she missed a target.
Right.
How about this? You missed a target.
You're disqualified.
Let Diana finish the race and like have that big moment. Because guess what? Diana fucking earned it.
Yeah.
She didn't give up.
Right.
You could easily watch that whole scene, and the whole message behind the scene is when things don't go your way, you don't give up. You find a way. Right. She powered through. She was flipping amazing. Let her finish, let her place, and then go. But guess what?
You missed the target.
You missed the target. You can't have one because you didn't follow all the rules.
Not you cheated.
Instead, Antiope's just like, no, you cheated. What? 1, she didn't. 2, why do you think that?
Right.
You're basically the mother of this child. You know her better than
right.
Is it only to set up this idea of like lies that you always have to combat? Which She didn't lie.
Right. It is
what do you do?
A lot of mixed messages in this movie.
Master Wayne, what do we do when we fall down?
We learn, pick ourselves back up.
Not in this movie. That's fucking cheating. You stay on the ground, Master Wayne.
Never.
Like, oh, that made me so mad.
Yeah.
Like that's how that ended.
Not good.
That's how that awesome sequence ended. Like that. Oh, I felt
good.
I felt mad. And then it was like so ham-fisted, like, oh, you always have to be true and true to yourself and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? You don't know what Diana just did. It's amazing. And she's like 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, and I am not one for like coddling, but how about just like, wow.
Slow clap.
Well done, Diana.
Well done.
Sorry you didn't win, but I'm not going to like tear you down to the ground.
You know, I thought about, I will give the script the benefit of the doubt of being really bad and trying to allude to the fact that Diana's cheating because she's a god.
Maybe she was cheating because she's a god.
Poorly executed.
Yeah. And again, at that point in her life, she doesn't know she's a god. So she doesn't even know she's
a god.
And Antiope knows, but like, again, Diana's not like using that to her advantage.
Right.
She just thinks she's really good and it's all her training and all that.
Totally.
I felt so bad for little kid Diana.
Written. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So bad for her.
Yeah.
She did not deserve that.
But
at least it pays off later when
nothing. No, they never go back to it. Go back to it.
The only way it comes back is to say that they're cheering in front of the golden armor statue. And that's what comes back later, which if you listened to 10 minutes ago, we're not big fans of the gold armor.
No, the gold armor was not a good.
No.
Man, it's so bad.
And
it's fucking bad.
I really like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but I would 100% watch a Wonder Woman movie as her as a kid. Just 100%. It's just her as a kid growing up in that Amazonian society.
Strong agree. I have a fix to this movie.
Okay.
If you're going to set Wonder Woman in 1984 and make it an 80s movie, the whole movie could have been she wished Steve Trevor back. She doesn't want to give up Steve Trevor. And so the whole movie, and this was our favorite part about Aquaman, you make the whole movie about tracking down the golden armor. And then you get to like take a romp through Goonies, Indiana Jones, Romancing the Stone.
Sure.
And that's a fun 80s movie.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
And then like you can even bring back the obstacle course of like the horseback riding, the javelin throwing. That's what I thought was
going to come back. That's what I originally thought was going to come back.
Then it makes sense, and at least it's a callback to something. I don't understand. Big question sketch. What was the significance of 1984?
Nothing. There was no significance to
this movie could have been set in it could have been set in 1970. It could have been set in 1992. It wouldn't have made a fucking difference.
It's timeless in a bad way.
Anytime before 2001, this movie could have taken place.
Sure.
Or anytime after 1950 and before 2001, this movie could have taken place.
I do have to correct one small thing you said there, where you said, they should have been like the part in Aquaman and they should have been like searching and going on. They did have that sequence in this movie.
Yeah, but it wasn't good.
Where
nothing came of it.
They go looking for
Max
Lord, and they find him immediately on the only road in Egypt. Okay, we're here now. Now we got to find. Oh, there he goes. Okay, turn around
on that road. Turn the car around.
We found him. That could have been great, like a detective thing throughout Cairo. I'm all on board.
And you need Steve Trevor because he was also an intelligence officer. You need the skill to track him down. Sure. And guys, we are trying so hard,
to fix this.
Fucking hard.
That's the thing. Are we even trying that hard? We're trying harder than they were.
Yes.
And it's not that like it's, these are easy fixes. These are easy fixes to do.
I mean, I feel like, I know that there's better fan fiction in the world that deserves to be made into a movie more so than this god awful script.
Apparently, it's the only paved road in all of Egypt because also the kids use it to like play basketball.
What the?
And then Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, but Wonder Woman.
God.
Her incredibly strong bicep should have sliced through those two children at the speed of which she was grabbing them.
Scythe, I'm gonna cut you in half, Billy.
Killed them. They should have folded over her arm like a wet beach towel.
That's an image.
And then she shakes the sand out.
Oh my God.
You're good. You're good, kid. You're good. Get up.
So bad. It's so god awful bad.
Yeah. I have more. Do you have more?
I do. I have so much more. I feel like we're just shitting all over Patty Jenkins. And the script.
Oh, is this Patty Jenkins?
The script. You know, I feel like
and Jeff Johns and the other guy.
The other guy. But
anyone.
There is on no planet can Kristen Wiig play an ugly girl.
Mm-hmm.
That just again, like a homely, tropes. Ugly, like, yeah, like on no, and they did a terrible job of like making her look like a homely, unattractive, geeky person. They were just all tropes that she was like super nerdy and smart and like uncoordinated and tripped over herself. It was socially the awkward. Worst part of like the John Hughes universe. Of like 16 Candles, St. Elmo's Fire, like it was all of the worst parts. Basically that role was like every Molly Ringwald role in a movie ever, and then just like CGI at the end. At least she didn't turn into like a giant CGI cat. Mm-hmm. At least it was a normal CGI cat.
What did I text you right after? Well, I guess now I see cats. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get Taylor Swift to play the role because of all her previous feline work. Her opening scene,
so bad.
Talk about suspending your disbelief or your inability to suspend your disbelief. Everyone she works with is so like unrealistically horrible to her. Where I was expecting a scene later in the movie where she's remembering things and she realized that she was just interpreting these things so shittily.
Right,
like her boss. It's like, oh, nice to meet you. And she's like, yeah, I've been here for 2 weeks and like can't get her name right. The guy that just like borderline like spits on her as she's picking up her papers. He doesn't spit on her, but he spits on her with her eyes. Like everyone is like cartoon level crappy.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to have not been what really happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it came off.
The worst part of that role was how Diana treated her. That was the thing that broke the universe for me because that's not Diana of Themyscira.
Yeah.
She only befriends her when she becomes of use. Arguably, Diana treats her worse than all of the men that she works with because Diana has had to live that.
Yeah.
And like she's supposed to know the worth of a human being, and she only uses her because she has knowledge about the object that will further the plot.
Yep.
And that is unforgivable for me. And that's like when we talk about like toxic female relationships.
Yeah.
That was unforgivable for me.
And not only that, but we have that exact same relationship in the movie with Maxwell Lord. And we go, oh, he's a villain. But Diana does it. And well, she's our hero.
Yeah. I feel like we're harping on Diana a lot here. I have one last thing that is just like really, really problematic.
Okay, and I have one last thing too, and
then let's move on from Diana and maybe wrap this.
Oh, I don't have my other rant is not
okay. This is the last rant for me. The Steve Trevor relationship, and Steve Trevor, Diana's relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Trevor does not come back from the dead. They like 1980s. Body swap him.
Oh, body switcheroo. Oh, you're skirting around my
into the body of a dude who has a life.
Yeah.
Who is, I don't know where he goes, but
that's one of my big questions.
Steve Trevor inhabits him.
When Steve Trevor's in there, where is that guy?
I don't know. Is he like watching trapped inside of his brain with no ability to control himself? Is he like in the waiting room, i.e. Quantum Leap? as Dr. Sam Beckett inhabits his body and negotiates his life through this trial that they would have got wrong. Like, what happens to that guy? And he has no consent in this matter.
Yeah.
No,
zero
consent. And like Diana fucks him 6 ways from Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
Repeatedly.
And that's not cool.
And also cool. Like, and you could say like, well, we've been telling those stories for years, so this is just flipping it on its head. No, the point is that we're moving forward and recognizing how wrong those stories were, not to perpetuate them with a like, i.e., like gender swap or flipping it on its head. It was wrong then. It's wrong now. It's just something it's a story we shouldn't glorify anymore. It's not right. That was the takeaway, right? No means no. Consent. Get consent. This guy can't give consent. Yeah,
100% agree with you. And I'll also include that
I don't want to be that guy. This movie is turning me into that guy.
It's turning you into that guy, but that guy, and I don't just keep calling him that guy because I don't remember what his name was.
I don't either. But then she encounters him at the end of the movie, and it's like, oh, I like your outfit.
Yeah, they have almost like a meet cute, which I'm like, God. undeserved and
not okay. You have to be like, hey, this happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the only way I'm okay with that guy showing up again at the end is if he is like in casts and bandages and is like, I don't know what the fuck happened to me this weekend, but I keep getting calls in Arabic. Very, very angry people in Cairo with me for some reason. The FBI wants to see me because of some sort of attack in the White House. Like,
I'm a terrorist.
Ruin that guy's life.
Yeah, he can't go.
His life is ruined forever and for no reason. Like, it's a wish stone. Why did the wish? And where else in the movie does the wish do that? Like, okay, the wish stone is supposed to take something in order for you to get your wish. And we established in the movie that the wish stone takes Diana's powers
to give her Steve Trevor back.
Steve Trevor here. Why did it take that guy's life and body over? The wish stone can do anything. And elsewhere in the movie, it just makes people appear.
Right.
Like, cops show up and they're like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here now.
Let's do this.
Let's do that with Steve Trevor. It was so unnecessary to put him in the body of someone else.
Well, because that was their 1980s. That's why it's set in 1984, because body swaps were a thing that you did in the 80s. Well, that's so funny. Like, they're not
cool.
It's not cool.
That poor guy. He is the biggest victim of the entire movie.
Yes.
Him and the kid. Him and Pedro Pascal's kid, I suppose.
Pedro Pascal's
a bit of a victim.
I felt so bad for that kid. I don't know that I would have forgiven him. My last rant, Maxwell Lord. Maxwell Lord in the comics. I think this is one of the first comics that I ever showed you. Like, it had such an impact on me. I believe it happened during Infinite Crisis when they were doing the OMACs and like Batman like created a contingency to take down the Justice League, and it worked.
Yeah, I'm remembering all this.
And Maxwell Lord was like the guy behind the scenes. He killed Blue Beetle. We were like Ted Cord. We were Booster Gold. We felt so bad for Booster Gold when they killed Ted Cord.
Is Booster.
Oh my
Gold.
God. And the final panel of this story arc, without getting it, Maxwell Lord has like orchestrated this whole thing. He's won. The Justice League is defeated. The OMACs reign supreme, and he's going to take over the world because like his power is that he can control people's minds. He has mind control, and he's like the most powerful meta on the planet. And to save the world on national television with everyone watching, Diana snaps his neck and twists it around backwards. And it was haunting to see on the page. She's a god. She grabs his head and spins it around and kills him on television.
Yeah. They did not do that in this movie.
Where was that story?
Yeah. Well, he had to be redeemable for some reason, and I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Like, they gave him like a backstory where you kind of felt sympathetic for him. They gave him a kid where you're like, I don't know. Why did he have to be a redeemable character?
That's what needed to happen. And and that was That's the truth of Diana's character, because she's a fucking warrior.
I still don't understand the end of the movie. Like, what happens?
I don't. Everyone gives back their wishes.
But I don't get that. And that's my probably biggest rant of the whole thing.
Doesn't give back her wish. She never gives back her wish. So yeah, she reverts, still has Diana's powers. Well, because she didn't wish to be a cheetah.
No, she didn't. That was what Maxwell turned her into, kind of like on his own.
He gave back his wish. She never gave back hers.
And she originally wished on the actual stone. And she didn't renounce that, just like Diana did renounce having Steve Trevor in a stupid scene where he ducks behind like an alley and you just hear him like, "Oh, I always remember you, Diana." Okay, that's odd.
I mean, that's just
like, at least give us
that was a reshoot. Like that was such a reshoot.
Absolutely.
And they didn't even bother to create an effect.
Fade in where like the guy like comes back.
We're not going to even spend money on that effect.
Huh? Yeah. So lazy. Again, lazy. But the whole premise of the wish was just like, can you put wishing into a movie? Absolutely. Can you hang such an important thing on it?
Yes.
Then you better have it tight and battened down.
Yeah.
And this was anything but. This was so crazy where I was like, okay. So all a person has to do is say, I wish. It's not like what's secretly in your heart, because Diana never says out loud, I wish Steve Trevor was back. She just thinks it. So like Maxwell is like tricking all these people like, oh, don't you wish I had some airtime today? And they're like, oh yeah, we're in their head. They're like, who the fuck cares? I don't know who you are.
Also, like when everyone renounces their wish, one guy like wishes that a woman drops dead.
Yes.
Was that undone? Like how? What are the mechanics?
I mean,
she died.
The nuclear things all blow up or like disappear or whatever.
She died. She was pronounced dead.
Yeah,
by that time in the movie, she was cremated.
And that's enough
time had passed because she's been cremated.
I'm like, who is responsible for this end of the movie? Like, who's responsible for the resolution? The movie deposits that I have to believe that because Diana is talking to everyone in the world, apparently through the lasso, like, because it's the 80s, we're all like stealing cable illegally. So she's like tapping into Maxwell's feed here.
No, because they rewrote what Star Wars is, and like they blanketed
that was crazy
the Earth
too.
in radio waves.
So she's like convincing everyone to renounce their wish,
and now everyone knows she exists.
But you're also like, so is the message here that like wishing is bad? Like do you have like some distraught,
give up your hopes and dreams,
like kid somewhere who's like, well, I wish Daddy would stop drinking and beating Mommy, but I guess I take that back.
I wish I didn't have cancer.
Yeah, like there are wishes out there that are like
hope.
Fine. And
the line between hope and a wish is so fine. Yeah, the message of this movie is really problematic.
Yeah,
because
and there's no way I could believe that everyone is renouncing their wishes.
Oh no!
Like you're going to convince a kid to like give back his birthday clown dinosaur astronaut that he just wished for and got magically? He's not giving that up. And so what? The world is doomed forever.
That's a movie I want to see. Birthday clown astronaut.
Yeah,
that would be a great movie. I want.
Don't forget the dinosaur.
Oh my god, birthday clown dinosaur astronaut! Holy shit!
And that woman,
take my money. Sketch.
That guy wished that woman was dead. I wish you were dead, and she falls over dead. But she also wished that she'd go back to his old goddamn country. But she's dead. She can't renounce her wish.
She can't
and I bet there's a lot of people who are dead
and can't renounce their wish. Yep.
And also, only because, speaking from experience, if I were watching a television program and everyone's wishes were coming true, but this lunatic was on TV talking, I would be thinking, I wish this guy would stop talking. And someone out there is doing that.
Right.
But he's still talking.
I mean, the movie is so bad. It's just problematic as being kind. It's just bad.
It's just lazy.
It was bad. It was lazy and it was bad. Oh my goodness.
How about that guy at the beginning who wished for coffee? Did he have to give the coffee back? He already drank it. And what happened to that woman whose coffee it was? He wished for coffee, and now all of a sudden, Susan called out today.
Yeah.
Well, where is Susan? What did the stone do to Susan? Is she okay?
Probably not.
No, probably not. Yeah. Oh, so many gosh darn problems.
Do you have any
in this movie.
big questions for Wonder Woman? I mean, I feel like we've asked a lot of big questions here.
Yeah, I mean, here's one of them, but I've already asked it. What's the goddamn message of this movie? No, I really
Gal
think
Gadot. Here's the message of this movie: Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman she's playing Wonder Woman. So we're gonna make as many of these fucking movies as we possibly can before she won't sign contracts anymore, because men will go and see it because it's Gal Gadot, and women will go and see it because it's Wonder Woman and girl power and female and male gaze, and it's guaranteed money. That's the message of the movie. That's what it's about.
And this thing was like so far away.
And that's so wrong. Yeah, it's so far away in every way, shape, and form.
Imagine I'll bring it back to what I said earlier about if this was written by someone else. Could you imagine the headlines of this movie ending with a literal cat fight? It literally ends with a cat fight.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that.
And you're like, did you not see the first movie? Did you not get the first movie?
Yep.
People. Patty, you were there.
It did the unforgivable thing that we always talk about. And you are always first to make this point. It makes the female character fight another female character because it's not acceptable for whatever reason. That is like, why?
Why aren't we
past that?
What
are you trying to say?
And not only that fight scene was really bad too.
It was.
On top of that, it was Game of Thrones dragon fight. It was that dark.
It was.
And you're like, what's going on? Is anyone doing anything? And okay, I guess the cat is dead because she was electrocuted. Oh no, never mind. She's fine. And Maxwell Lord is now like standing in a spotlight and everyone in the world can see him. I guess that's what we're doing now.
Oh, so bad.
Crazy.
It's cocoa bananas.
And we gave so many fixes, guys.
Take any one of them.
The Snyder cut of Justice League comes out end of March. We're happy to announce the Shades and Sketch cut of Wonder Woman 84 comes out in April. We're following up. It's going to be a much shorter movie.
It comes out April 1st.
All it is the first 20 minutes with young Diana. Yeah. In the Olympics, and we cut right before
Diana
she's
snaps,
accused of cheating,
and then it jumps to Diana snapping Maxwell Lord's head and spinning it around.
And then you get it, like the context is in the middle, and we're not going to beat you over the head with it. You get what happens in between.
Oh my goodness,
so
Sketch!
Good.
It's so not good.
It's so sad. And again, I wouldn't be as upset if Wonder Woman 1 didn't handle all these things so well.
Right.
Like, the baton was there.
It wasn't even a baton. It's arguably. This is the, and I struggle to find like where the flaw, where the weak spot was, like what happened, who joined the crew and swung their power around to drive this thing off the rails. And it's the reverse. Zack Snyder got removed.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Zack Snyder is what made the first movie so good. I'm saying what was injected into this movie to make it so just bonkers.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was rooted in that dark, gritty, lack of a better word, Snyderverse, but carved its own path.
Yeah.
And did something new. It was still interconnected in a tangential way. This is so bad. They didn't gain anything by making it brighter and happier. It didn't add anything to. Arguably, it makes the whole thing just look that much more ridiculous when you see the bright colors that they toned into Diana's arm. I mean, it's just comical now. Mm-hmm. They had toned down the color scheme in her armor before that it looked like armor, and now it's back to looking like a bikini.
Yeah.
Or one piece, like a 1940s one piece swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I misspoke. Why?
Yeah, just a lot of those
happening?
Things. It really felt, and I know I keep saying the word, I keep saying lazy. I felt like the first movie had a lot of pressure on it, and it ended up being very good for it. It had a lot of pressure to be good. A lot was riding on it.
The bar was so, like, I mean, they just had to step over the hurdle.
And then in this movie, they're just like, oh shit, is that due tomorrow?
They tripped and fell 30 feet before the hurdle and just barreled into it and knocked it over.
Yep. Bummer.
It really is.
Guys, let's not forget that Steve Trevor had a very difficult time understanding what an escalator is, which is just moving stairs that move from one floor to the other. Shortly after in the movie, he
flying is just
a jet to Cairo.
What does he say? Flying is just wind and air? Wind and
sure.
It's something. No, there's thrust and lift and
there was nothing. Everything. There were so many scenes in this movie where
thermodynamics.
You were supposed to be like, wow, this is deep, but none of it was deep.
And lift. And oh my god!
Like in that opening scene, and Toa, whatever her name is,
Antiope,
has words with Diana that's supposed to be like profound. Can't even tell you what she said. Her mom talks with her. Can't even tell you what she said. Steve Trevor explains flying in this like poetic blah blah blah.
No,
don't even know what he said. Diana has this big scene where she convinces all the world to give up their wishes.
Couldn't tell you what said.
Grandma goes back to dying of cancer. It was that strong, but I can't remember what it was.
Steve Trevor wears a fanny pack.
All I can remember from this movie is life is good, but it can be better.
Yeah.
And you know what? I like the memes that have come out of that.
That's the
Look is good,
greatest contribution.
But it can be butter.
Yep. Oh my!
Wool is good, but it can be sweater. There's a lot of great ones.
Oh man, I am unfamiliar with those. We'll have to link to some of those in the show notes as well.
Compilation of those.
Yeah.
So guys, that was Wonder Woman 84.
Big question, sketch.
Yeah.
When will Wonder Woman 3 be set?
Oh boy.
Will it be another like year theme? Will that be the takeaway?
I don't even know what you do next. I don't even know what you do next. Here? Yeah. Too big of a time jump. I would have loved. Tell me the story of Diana Prince in World War II.
Right.
Tell me that story, because she's hung up the lasso. I mean, according to the first Wonder Woman,
right?
She's not getting involved, but she's got to be grappling with it. So,
well, now
it could be a really dramatic story.
Big question.
Did she ever really give it up?
Clearly, she didn't give it up. She was just really good at staying off the radar, and arguably, she was not good at staying off the radar. So, like, what happened during World War II?
Wear a mask. Wear a mask. Yeah. Your face is out there. Clark Kent at least wears glasses.
Yeah, maybe something other than blue, red, and gold one piece.
Yeah.
If you're trying to hide.
And also, maybe don't take like a job with other people if you never age. Because like, is no one ever
I guess like what we're to believe is she just goes from like continent to continent working at museums.
I guess so.
Like,
so.
Nobody does background checks.
Did Diana Prince used to work at your museum? Yeah, for 20 years. And before that, she worked 20 years at another museum. And according to her resume, 20 years before that, she was at another museum. I thought she retired by now. No, she looks great. And she's really good at ancient Greek. Yeah. So we're going to hire her. And then the gemologist becomes a cheetah for some reason. Here's a big question for you before we wrap this up. What do you know Cheetah's backstory in the comics? Like, is she really like
Cheetah's backstory? I mean, it changes a lot. Sometimes she looks like a cheetah, sometimes she doesn't. Yeah. but she wants to be Wonder Woman. So I mean, they nailed that. And at different times in the comics, she has become Wonder Woman. Sometimes she's a villain. Sometimes she's an antagonist. Sometimes she works with Wonder Woman. She's like the Joker or Lex Luthor or Bizarro. I guess she's like all of those things. But her motivation is like she could have been Wonder Woman.
I liked her look in the Capitol, like before she turned full cheetah.
Yeah,
where she just like looked very feral and she had fur on and stuff like that.
That was
awesome. Like that's enough cheetah for me to be like, yeah, this is cheetah.
Yep.
And this is cool. That was a pretty good fight sequence between not only her and Diana, but between Diana and the Secret Service and all that.
Cheetah thing. I mean, I'm gonna make a bold statement.
The movie should have ended in the Capitol. Like,
I agree.
Then,
the White House. The White House. They didn't go to the Capitol.
The White House. When I say Capitol, I mean DC, not like the Capitol.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But it should have ended there. Like the height should have been him taking over the presidency, and then she has to grapple it back from him just right there.
I mean,
but instead we go to the satellite island and we have a full cheetah.
I'm going to say this, and I could be wrong, but I don't think the actor playing the cheetah version of Cheetah is Kristen Wiig. I think it's an entirely different person. I'm just looking at the facial construction, and unless they radically like sculpted her face, they just the bones of the face does not seem to be Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think her cheetah costume that she fights with at the Capitol was way better than turning her into an actual cheetah. And they've done both of those things in the comics.
The smart thing they did in that final fight, though, where she was full cheetah, is they made it so dark that you don't even need to worry about what they did with the buttholes like we do for cats.
Yes, true statement.
I mean, honestly, that was the biggest problem with cats, as we know. And this movie, they were like, you know what? Message received. We're going to turn down the brightness. Now no one cares.
Yes, that was the takeaway.
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh.
Could have been good.
But it wasn't.
Should have been better. There you go. That's the movie. Wonder Woman 84. Could have been good, but it should have been better.
Oh, Sketch. I mean, we could talk about this all day, and I think we've asked some big questions.
And I think we've thought about it more.
I really think we thought about it more than anybody involved with the film.
Some people involved.
Yeah. I will say anybody involved. I'll that can be my hot take. I think that brings us to
Shades of Sketch recommendations.
Sketch, you want to recommend anything?
Yeah, I'll recommend I did a light recommendation once, not officially, and I'm going to officially recommend Truth Seekers on Amazon Prime because I finally got around to finishing it. It's very short. It's only 8 episodes, 8 half-hour episodes, and it ended up being really fun. So Truth Seekers is an Amazon Prime original where it follows these 2 cable installers, and one of them is kind of like an amateur paranormal investigator. And
is this starring Nick Frost?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
And the and the other one is kind of very skittish and very hesitant to get into this world. And Nick Frost has never really encountered anything paranormal until this series starts up, and they actually start bumping into things that are legit paranormal. And as the season continues, you kind of find out that their story is kind of running adjacent and kind of intersects a little bit with like this massive cult that's going on that's really into the paranormal. And so it's just like a funny adventure with a really serious dramatic side as well, of like these 2 stories and where they intersect together. And it really it ties together really nicely the way these 2 stories intersect. It really gave me vibes of like Doctor Who because there were some really good like period pieces where they would kind of go back in time and kind of explain where this aspect of the paranormal or that aspect came from. But it was short. It was fun. It was succinct. It was well written. I think it's definitely worth your time. If you are a fan of like Doctor Who, like David Tennant, Matt Smith era Doctor Who, I would say True Seekers would fit pretty good with you. So that's on Amazon Prime.
Fantastic. I will definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Sketch, I had a recommendation I was really excited about, but for the life of me, I cannot.
Wonder Woman took it out
of me. So okay. I'm going to recommend Curse of Oak Island.
That's fair. We all saw it coming.
Fucking love this show. I love everything about it. I'm not a reality TV person, but this is just it's just this side of reality TV. If this show had been produced 10 years earlier or 5 years later of when it started, it wouldn't be called The Curse of Oak Island. There's been a documented dig on this island since 1790. Presidents have taken part in it. Multiple companies have taken part in it. People have dedicated their whole lives trying to get to this treasure. This group, the Fellowship of the Dig, as they call themselves, led by two brothers, Rick and Marty Lagina, and their partners, and just a cast of people who have come to believe in it and are there on this island every year trying to dig to the bottom of it and find out what's going on. They're now, spoilers, they're now in season 8. They're now drilling 200 feet below the surface of Oak Island.
Wow.
And they're pulling up wood from the 1600s, like timbers, like hand-hewn timbers. They're pulling up, nails that are being carbon dated to the 1400s. They're finding jewels, and it doesn't make, if it is a hoax, and it very well may be, like the story of how this thing was perpetrated is almost like finding out the answer to that is almost more important than whether or not there is or isn't actually a treasure there. Because you have to ask yourself, like, the first documentation of there being a disturbance, like is post 1790. Everything they're finding, ship slips, wharfs, slipways, a man-made swamp that's hiding who knows what, like these paved areas that look like Roman roads. It's just bonkers. The effort and energy that was taken, if it is a hoax, to perpetrate this is just on par with no other feat ever recorded. So either way, it's a mystery, and I just love. I could at different times, I'm sure I've lamented romantically, there's no mystery left in the world. Like the pyramids have been excavated, the tombs have been uncovered. There's no. Yeah. This is an honest to goodness mystery.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they build this before power tools? Before modern digging? How do you dig down below the bedrock of planet Earth before mechanical tools?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I am all in. As long as they produce this show, I will watch it. If they stop producing it, I will probably go to Oak Island and just watch. I am that into it. And it's, the curse stuff, fuck that. Every episode, the narration from the overdub from the first season, legend says 7 must die before the curse is lifted. And
there's a legit curse.
Well, no.
I mean, it's not just a title.
No, 6 people have died. 6 people have died searching for this over the last 200 years that people have been trying to get to.
It's a dangerous activity.
Exactly. Tunneling below the surface of the earth, with limited resources, tools, and capacity is dangerous.
Yeah.
That's clearly a History Channel, how they sold it, how the production company sold it to History Channel with the curse aspect, but no one ever actually talks about there being a curse on the show. Just that we have to find the answers because 6 people have died trying to find the answers. And
Yeah.
We're still no closer. So the name of the show is not indicative of what the show's actually about. And I find it really interesting in the technology that they're employing to try and figure out what happened on this island. It speaks to every aspect of like my love of history, my love of mystery, storytelling, documentary, filmmaking. Give it a watch. If it doesn't hook you, sorry, I gave you a bad recommendation, but I really feel like it will.
Oh, I'm sure I've given bad recommendations before, or recommendations that don't stick with everybody. Guys, we're all different. We're not all interconnected by Wonder Woman's lasso in the world, and we all like the same thing. And
I was going to say, I see where this is going.
We're all different. We like different things. Shades, I just wonder how long that show is going to last before they figure out that the real treasure was the friendship they made along the way.
Oh, boy.
I'm saying season 12. That's going to be the tagline.
Sure.
All right, The Curse of Oak Island. Where do you watch The Curse of Oak Island?
I stream it on Prime. I buy the whole season when it comes out. I think it's worth it. But you can watch the first 6 seasons on Hulu.
There you go.
And I think the first 2 seasons are on Netflix.
The Stream Wars.
And you can watch it if you have like on demand. You can watch it on History Channel on demand.
There you go.
And I think you can just watch it on the History Channel website.
You probably could just watch it on History Channel too. Yeah, if you still have TV.
Yeah, you can watch it live on the History Channel. Absolutely. Yep.
There you go. The Stream Wars.
Oh, the Stream Wars. Don't get me started.
Shades, is there anything you would like to take with you from this episode? I mean, we have 2 properties. We have The Mandalorian and we have Wonder Woman 84. Is there anything at all that you'd like to take?
Well, Sketch, I think I'm going to surprise you. And I want to thank you for asking me first.
Okay.
I'm going to take Luke's lightsaber.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm going to take Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Sketch, is there anything you want to take with you?
Yes, I have uncovered this invisible coffee mug. It wasn't that hard to find.
Oh boy!
It was just in Diana's apartment, which is not that
sitting
big.
There,
and you could still clearly see the coffee in it. I don't know why that was such a big problem. Just coffee floating midair, and invisible coffee cup versus Luke Saber's Return of the Jedi lightsaber. I think there's a clear winner here.
Wow!
I'll let you borrow the mug whenever you'd like.
Thanks, Sketch. You're a stand-up guy.
Yeah, this coffee mug is going to work great with my Green Hornet espresso machine. Got quite the collection going on here, guys. Are you keeping track at home of what we're collecting throughout all of pop culture?
I hope so.
It's pretty amazing, actually. What are we? Pop culture
archaeologists.
Archaeologists. I like it. Not thieves.
Not thieves. Pop culture archaeologists.
Yeah. All right, well, guys.
Oh boy.
I hope we answered your questions about how we thought about both of those properties, both Mandalorian season 2 and Wonder Woman 84. Say what you will about this episode. Strong emotions for both of those properties.
Yep.
Strong emotions. And we'll return again next time with a more traditional Geeking Out Shades of Sketch. Yes. So
until then,
Shades, thanks for potting.
Thank you, Sketch. Thanks for potting with me.
And guys, stay safe out there.
Yep.
It's 2021, but you still got to be careful.
Refrigerate your tomatoes.
Don't refrigerate your tomatoes. And I guess don't make wishes.
Don't. Yeah.
Also, I think that's a message.
I do believe that was the takeaway.
And if you get knocked off a horse, just quit.
Don't try anymore.
Right thing to
just
do.
Give up.
I guess. And on that note, on that cheerful note,
we will
see you next time.
If you'd like to take a more active role in supporting Geeking Out, visit us at our website, shows.acast.com/geekingout. You can email the show at gowithshadesandsketch@gmail.com or contact us through Facebook or Twitter. Geeking Out is a production of Tree Cave Creative, LLC. All rights reserved, 2021.
Oh boy, there was a lot to say about Wonder Woman.